Cornerstones. These cornerstones are simple but not simplistic. By that I mean that they may seem intuitive and common sense, but you most likely have never seen them compiled and linked together in this fashion. It is my hope that this chapter will help you take these concepts from a sublanguage level to a conscious language level of understanding. In putting language to these fundamental principles and applying them daily, you will have won half the battle in staying calm in the face of verbal attacks. Cornerstone number 1. What everybody wants. There are two universal needs that human beings everywhere need to satisfy in order to be fulfilled in their relationships with others. They transcend age, race, religion, nationality, and culture. They are 1. Everybody wants to feel important, and 2. Everybody wants to be understood. Those are the two big drivers for the human race. The saying, see, I told you I was full of them, that sums this up is, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. I've mentioned this already and will bring it up several more times to make sure you have it clearly in mind. Calm is principle-based, not technique-based. So you will need to make a shift in the way you believe in the face of conflict, not just in the way you act. Seek to make other people feel important and prove to them that you want to understand them, and you will notice that there are fewer and fewer verbal attacks occurring in your relationships. Cornerstone number 2. The internal dialogue. When you are first learning to walk as a baby, every time you fail, everyone cheers and claps and encourages you to get up, come on, try it again. This support in our failures and encouragement to keep trying is intuitive for adult humans supporting baby humans. Then our schooling begins, and all that changes. Now you get praise and recognition only when you do things right. When you make a mistake, you get marked down. When you make a big enough mistake, you get chastised and made to feel bad about yourself and your performance. This is all taking place just at the time when you are beginning to develop language skills. So now, when you are just finding out about mistakes, you create a story inside your head about what kind of person you are when you fail. This story, and the decisions you made about yourself, are likely still with you today, and they may show up in the way you talk to yourself when you blunder. It was Will Rogers who said if someone talked to you the way you talk to yourself, you'd punch him in the nose. So here's step 1 towards resolving conflict. Begin talking to yourself like you would a dear loved one. If you don't, who will? There is no law that says you have to beat yourself up when you blow it. In fact, you will probably recover more quickly from your mistakes if you take Anthony Robbins' advice. He tells us that the quality of one's life can largely be determined by the quality of one's mistakes. If you want a better life, make better mistakes. Or put another way, the path to wisdom is experience. The path to experience is mistakes. So please, will you accept my invitation to talk nicely to yourself? You will enjoy far greater peace and joy when you are more compassionate in the way you speak to yourself. I promise. When the fight inside resolves, the fight outside dissolves. Cornerstone number 3. The cosmic joke. Okay, here's the deal. All of us are scared silly of what other people think about us. I see it every time I'm working with a group for the first time, and I ask for feedback on why no one wants to be the first to speak in group settings. There is always a pregnant pause, and I get to say, "There, see what I mean?" Why is that? I get responses, after prodding, that people are afraid that someone will think they're stupid, or they talk funny, or they might make a fool out of themselves, or that they might say something that wasn't relevant or didn't make sense. It is why most of us dread public speaking. So here's the cosmic joke. Everyone spends most of their waking hours worrying about what other people are thinking of them to the point that it drives what they say or don't, where they work, where they live, who they live with, the car they drive, the way they dress, I mean just about everything. So if all we are ever doing is obsessing about what other people are thinking of us, well, then no one is thinking about us. They're only thinking about what you are thinking of them. We're all worrying about something no one is doing. Think about that for a second. It's pretty ironic. Oh sure, we might spend the first 10 seconds or so sizing up a new acquaintance, but once we've slotted their card, made up our mind about what kind of person he or she is, a choice that's very hard to get people to do over. That's the last we think about the other person. From that point on, it's, I wonder what they're thinking about me. Why do you think it's so hard to remember names? We aren't listening to the other person tell us their name. We're listening to ourselves worry about what we will say next so this new person won't think we're an idiot. Overcome this, and you will be most of the way there in dealing with verbal attacks. It's our constant worry, even obsession, about what others are thinking of us that derails our ability to connect with and guide people at a time when they have lost control and need leadership the most, when they are attacking us. When we are being verbally attacked, our attacker is not thinking about us. They are thinking about what we must be thinking of them. That's why they are attacking. They are seeking to change the way you are thinking about them. So they think. We'll talk about that more in a little while. That's a complicated joke, but if you'll listen to it a few times over and think about it for a while, you'll see just how much conflict is caused by this basic flaw in our thinking, the cosmic joke. Cornerstone number 4. Right to harm versus right to choose. One of the fundamental differences between Aikido and other highly popular martial arts such as Taekwondo, Kung Fu, and Karate is the belief in the right to harm. The majority of martial arts operate on the premise that because someone is attacking us and intends to do us harm, we have the right to injure, maim, and even kill our attacker. This is further perpetuated in our action movies where right vanquishes wrong, usually with lots of blood, gore, and loss of life. Aikido is based on the opposite premise that just because someone else is attacking us, we do not have the right to harm that person. Aikido is unique in that instead of blocking a strike and striking back in an effort to overpower the attacker, Aikidoists learn how to blend with the incoming energy of the attacker in such a way that the energy is redirected and diffused. The situation is resolved without injury to the attacker or the attacked. Stay Calm explores this powerful concept in great detail. Aikido's founder, Morihei Ueshiba, developed this concept of harmonization after years of practice in many forms of martial arts and meditation. Just recently, new discoveries about how the brain functions under the influence of anger provide stunning evidence that having the ability to blend with an attack is the correct scientific solution as well. Research into the relatively new field of emotional intelligence, known as EQ, pioneered by expert Daniel Goleman, has been detailed in his most recent book, Primal Leadership. In this work, Goleman explains how our ancient primal brain, the amygdala, can take command of and hijack the decision-making part of our brain, the neocortex, when fear or anger come into play. The amygdala, a walnut-sized lobe in the center of our brain, is the source of intuition that has kept Homo sapiens alive throughout human evolution. However, it is also the part that makes it impossible to reason with someone whose decision-making ability is disabled by the flood of adrenaline that is dumped into the bloodstream on command by the amygdala. This makes reasoning with someone who is attacking you as useless as trying to reason with someone who is drunk. This fourth cornerstone is critical in building the solid foundation from which to respond to a verbal or physical attack. You must choose. The attacker has temporarily lost the ability to use the prefrontal lobe to make decisions. He cannot access that part of his brain, so you must make the choices he cannot until he regains access and can reason again. The reward is that when you choose, you earn the right to guide instead of harm, to lead instead of becoming a victim. Together, these cornerstones will provide you with a new operating system that will let you see verbal attackers as people who really want and need to be understood and to feel important. These are people who, because of their own internal dialogue, have temporarily lost control of their ability to use reason and logic and instead resort to violence, either verbal or physical.